Yo. Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me and see me? Let me know if the background music is too loud. I just ate some chicken, so hopefully there's no like food stuck in my teeth or anything like that. Anyway, it's been a minute since I streamed, which seems to be always the case. But I just thought I'd stream, had some free time this evening. I just came back from the grocery store. How's everybody doing? Don't really necessarily have a plan for the stream, just thought we'd hang out for a little bit. And this is not normally the day that I stream, so maybe that will allow people that normally are unable to catch the stream. You know, it's a little bit later in the day, so if you don't live in the United States, it might be kind of late for you, or just a weird time. I apologize for that, but so who we got in here? Carver, Michelle, Patient 8, Chris, Andrew. What, 460 kidneys? Elbder. I feel like I butchered that name before in a previous stream. Mr. Percy's. The Fantastic is fine. Couch Potato. What's up, everyone? I'm actually gonna get rid of this this sort of homie's goal. How do I do that? Like Twitch streamers do excuse me. Twitch streamers do like sub goals. It's just kind of a thing they do. So I thought, hey, I'll do one too. But I was watching an interview. Wait, how do I do this? Yeah, I was watching an interview with a streamer called Ludwig, who maybe you've heard of if you're into the streaming world. And he brought up a good point, how like sub goals are just kind of like it's like you set a goal for a certain number of subs, and then once you get the goal, then you do something like a special stream or you give something back to the audience. But it's like a sub goal is really just kind of celebrating the streamer making more money, which is kind of weird. And it's like, if you think that the thing that you want to do once you reach the goal is cool, then you should just do it. You shouldn't wait until you make a certain amount of money to do it. I just really did it just because that's what all the streamers did. I guess it works for them, but no, it's just kind of a weird thing. I'm trying to figure out how to do it though. How to get rid of it. Am I going for it? I will never do a subathon. Well, I can't say I will never do a subathon, but I'll never do like an uncapped subathon. And I doubt I'll do a subathon, to be honest. I don't have the energy. I'm a little bit older than some of these other streamers that do shit like that. Can I just hit delete? Save. There we go. Anyway, have I been playing Elden Ring? No. From Software games are not my jam. I mean, I totally respect those games and people who love those games and people who like enjoy the challenge and sort of like the grind of those games, but I'm not one of those people. I don't think that dying over and over again is fun gameplay. It's not really my personal jam. But if that's your personal jam, I totally respect that. Face reveal at 300K. I always thought that maybe the biggest stunt I could pull for something like that would be to shave my hair, which I think would be wild. But that would have to, something like really big would have to happen for that. Or if I just like start balding really badly or something, then I'll probably do it. But I feel like if I was gonna start balding, I would have started already. I mean, I have a pretty high hairline, as you can see, but I'm not like actively balding. My hair is turning gray though, if you can tell. But I feel like a bunch of like sort of salt and pepper dreads would be tight. Have I played Bloodborne? No, I watched my friend play a lot of it though. Yeah, it would have to be some kind of like life-changing event for me to like shave my hair. How long? I think the last time I cut my hair was about 12 years ago. Yeah, a couple people have already mentioned Will Smith. I assume that someone would bring it up. Yeah, I wouldn't do it for 10K. But it's a bit of a privilege to say that. Like if you asked me 10 years ago, would I shave my head for 10K? If I had like long dreads 10 years ago, and you asked me if I would shave my head for 10K, I would have done it in a second. But luckily, I'm in a position where I mean, obviously 10K would be dope, but that's just too much of a permanent change. I guess it's not permanent, but it's a semi-permanent change. 100K, probably do that. Maybe even 50K. Not 10K though. Yeah, I don't know how many of you follow me on Twitter or keep up with my Twitter, but I had several things to say about the Will Smith thing, much of which did not seem to be the majority opinion. And it kind of stressed me out. Are there people here that don't know what happened with Will Smith? That's very interesting. What, like, where were you, and can I go there to avoid the drama of social media? Did I watch Jon Stewart's interview with Cory Booker? I did not. I actually have not watched any of Jon Stewart's new show. I need to watch it. Honestly, I'm not super up to date with Cory Booker. I mean, I get. I don't know. I don't want to comment too much because I don't really know that much about him. I mean, I just get sort of like typical Democrat vibes from him, but I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, Will Smith slapped somebody, or slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Walked up to him, slapped him in the face. And if you didn't watch that, it sounds like we're making it up, because it seems like it's such a bizarre thing that would happen. So, I mean, I guess I'll give, I don't know. When it happened, like I wasn't even watching the Oscars. I was like chilling with some friends, or I was chilling with a friend, and like I just saw that Twitter was blowing up about it, and I was like, there's no way that this happened. And so I looked more into it, and as the takes started rolling in, I was like, very prepared. Like, it's like, oh, this is a really crazy thing that happened. I cannot wait for the memes that are going to come out about this. This is great. But it wasn't memes really at first. It wasn't memes at first. It was a bunch of people having like really serious discussions and really hot takes on it. And like, hold on a second, my bad. Anyway, and the predominant take on Twitter, at least among the people I follow, and not even on Twitter, and this is what kind of got to me, is usually, I mean, I hate Twitter. I've said this many times. If I didn't think that Twitter helped my career, I'd probably just delete my account. But usually when there's like this weird shit going on Twitter, I just boil it down to, okay, it's Twitter being Twitter again. It's social media nonsense once again. But in this one, it was not just Twitter. It was like Facebook and people I know, like friends of mine. And it seemed like the predominant take was that it was okay for Will Smith to do that. And there's various reasons why. Some people just boil it down to like talk shit, get hit. Some people, apparently that's the code they live by. But other people were more in depth with it and say like, oh, this was a black woman being insulted for a condition that she had, and black men should be defending black women and things of that nature. My perspective, and again, apparently this is not the majority of the opinion, at least not among fucking online progressive social media, but my position is that Will Smith was completely 100% in the wrong, and that was just a completely embarrassing, shameless display of toxic masculinity. But apparently a lot of people didn't like that take. I lost a lot of followers after that. And yeah, I get that. I mean, listen, and this is probably maybe my most controversial opinion among audiences, among maybe my audiences, but definitely among like the current online left. I really think that people need to calm down about jokes. Like, yes, jokes can be mean. Jokes can be insensitive and offensive and not so woke. But jokes, and especially in this particular case, no honest person can look at this situation and say that Chris Rock harbored some like deep hatred for Jada Pinkett or for black women or for anybody due to that joke. Like, no honest person can say that. But just in general, I feel like people need to calm down about jokes. Like, there is this like online fucking crusade against comedians that's been going recently. And listen, you can criticize comedians 100%. There are lots of shitty, tasteless comedians that make dumb jokes, that make fun of marginalized people. That's cool. Criticize them, make a 2-hour video essay about it. That's great. But people literally want these people to go away. Like, they want them to lose their jobs, you know? They want them to be punished for telling jokes. And that's not good. And again, that does not seem to be the majority opinion in this space, in this sort of like left-wing space online. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we got to calm down about that. Like, if you take a joke seriously, you are interacting with that joke in the wrong way. I did a video about this, and I used the analogy. It's like using a hammer to comb your hair. That's not what you're supposed to do with that thing. This is another take. A lot of people say it's the Oscars, not a roast, but it's like, have you got? I don't even watch the Oscars that much, but I know that they always roast the celebrities at the Oscars. I don't know what people are talking about. That always happens. So that take is something I saw a lot. Especially when you know that, you know, certain people are hired to do things. Certain people are hired to host. Certain people are hired to present. They would not hire these people. They wouldn't hire comedians to be there at all. Chris Rock ain't fucking winning an Oscar or being nominated for an Oscar. He's there to tell jokes, and they know who Chris Rock is and what he does. Anyway, all that being said, you can't assault people just because they said something. You just can't do that. First of all, that's not legal. You can't just hit people when they haven't, you know, physically threatened you or harmed you. You just can't do that. But second of all, it's just not a good thing to do. It's not a way to behave. It's a childish way to behave. And it's also dangerous and reckless. Like, I know lots of people. I think Chris Rock was, you know, trying to save face. But I know lots of people, if you march up to them like that, looking mad, they're gonna swing on you first. And that's exactly why you don't attack people. So, you know, you don't know. I mean, that's why it's a bad idea. That's why you don't do it. You don't march up to people and slap them in the face, because first of all, you don't know what they're gonna do to you. You don't know what they're gonna do to people you love. It's just all around a bad idea. So and that's kind of essentially, and I think I started actually getting stressed out, and a lot of that was just because it was Twitter, and Twitter like always stresses me out if I read it too much. But it started stressing me out because I guess I had this assumption that we all agreed on that already. Like, we all agreed that it wasn't like you can't just hit people whenever they say something you don't like. I thought that was just kind of a thing we knew, that, you know, like mature adults, that's how they act. But apparently that's somehow I'm out of the loop. I missed the memo where it's cool in certain situations to assault people just because they said something to you. And it like legitimately, like, you know, a lot of people in this chat and even on Twitter were like, why is everybody so serious about this? It's kind of it's a weird event, but it's not that big a deal. Why do we care so much? But it actually legitimately started stressing me out, because I felt like the world just got a little scarier because I just thought that we knew that wasn't how you behave. So yeah, I don't know. I figured that this would come up during the stream, so I thought I might as well just give my take on it. You can do with it what you will. But personally, like, a lot of people are like, I can see both sides. To me, Will Smith was 100% in the wrong. Like, I don't think it's a both sides situation. You don't get to just attack people when they say something. That's just not how the world should work. And if that is the way the world is, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Trump, I mean, I got similarly stressed out when Trump won. Obviously, I think the Trump thing is a little more substantial, a little more, it affects things more, but it in the sense that I thought we all agreed that a person shouldn't act like that or be rewarded for acting like that. So I think that is an apt analogy. But, and listen, I don't want to discount other people's opinions, but this is just one of those times where it's like, I just do not feel you at all on this. Well, I see, and this is a thing. That's why I was getting a little stressed out. Rainbow Corner, I just saw your comment, because for me, it wasn't even just Twitter. It was like my friends and shit too. But that could just be this bubble that I'm in, and maybe I need to, take a break from this bubble and go on vacation or something. But yeah, I mean, I was like legitimately getting stressed out. And then, yeah, as many people mentioned, just right after that, he went up there and gave a speech and won an Oscar. And it's like, what? This is why I don't think this is the right timeline. Like, what is happening? What? And I also don't like when things like this happen, because I also don't want to be perceived in a certain way. Because a lot of people tried to frame this around race and black women. And now I've got people on Twitter that are accusing me of, being against black women, not supporting black women, not wanting to protect black women. Or even in a more general sense, being supportive of bullying, not supporting bullying, things like that. And I hate that shit as well. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like, obviously I have opinions on this, but it's not something I would ever make a video about, because I would just instantly get dogpiled in that same way. I saw the Jim Carrey thing. I don't think he said he will sue Will. He said he would sue Will Smith, which is fair because Will Smith assaulted somebody. I don't know if it would have been the best look for Chris Rock to press charges, but he would have been well within his rights to do that. You're allowed to be mad, you're allowed to be offended, but you are not allowed to assault people. That's just not how it works. But yeah, that was, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just was very confused and flabbergasted for the past couple days. Did not know what was going on. Am I married? I'm not married. Yeah, see, and this is why I think Twitter is disingenuous a lot of the time. Like, it seems to be, most people seem to agree that Chris Rock probably didn't know about Jada's alopecia. But that sort of brings in an inconsistency. So either you're holding him accountable for something that he didn't know, or you're saying that he did know. Like, people are talking about the joke like Chris Rock was attacking Jada, attacking black women, making fun of black women. The gist of that joke was, hey, you're bald. He didn't say it was bad to be bald. Like, I could see if Chris Rock got up there, it still wouldn't justify violence. But if Chris Rock got up there and was like, Will Smith, your wife is ugly as fuck. Like, if he was up there saying shit like that, that would be a little more understandable. But it still wouldn't justify violence. But the thing is, he just made a joke, the gist of which was like, hey, you're bald. Which she is. He didn't say it's funny that you have a disease, or your baldness makes you ugly, your baldness makes you less worthy. So I feel like Twitter and people are just disingenuous a lot of the time. But again, I think it just goes back to, we need to calm down about jokes. Like, if you don't like a comedian, that's fine. But this sort of equation of telling jokes to violence is ridiculous. And yes, jokes can be indicative of sort of normalized bigotry in our society, for sure. But that doesn't mean you get to tell people that they're not allowed to tell those jokes. It's not how free expression works. Yeah, I mean, the joke, I'm not denying that the joke is rude, but I was disputing that it was some kind of malicious attack against black women. But yeah, the joke, that's the point of a roast. The roast is you're making fun of someone. Yes, I understand that. But I do think that was kind of a little bit of a tangent. I just think that Twitter kind of exaggerated the telling of the joke, because the joke was kind of tame, to be honest. And also, as we mentioned before, we're not sure, and it seems to be the consensus that Chris Rock probably didn't know that she had alopecia. I don't really think that changes anything whether he knew or not, but that supports the idea that it wasn't some kind of malicious attack on black women and their hair. Yeah, I lost a couple hundred Twitter followers over the past few days. And to be fair, I didn't have to tweet. To quote the great Natalie Wynn, a word of advice that everyone should follow: do not tweet. Yeah, but you can't attack someone because they told a joke. That's literally not legal. So I mean, that's freedom of speech. I mean, that's not even really what freedom of speech is, but just in a general sense, you should be able to speak without, like, you have the right to not be attacked because you said something, or at least that's what I think. I learned recently that that may not be the majority opinion. I mean, there's pockets of Twitter that are fine. Like, I've heard like the art community on Twitter is pretty cool, but whenever certain events happen, you can find these like political threads get tied into it. And I feel like whenever politics gets involved, it just always goes to hell on social media. But I will say some of y'all are making me feel a little bit better, because I really thought that I was just kind of going crazy, because I really I just could not really imagine why and how so many people could defend Will Smith on this. But again, what they're gonna say, what's gonna happen is the people on Twitter are gonna tell me that it's just a bunch of white people telling you that, and of course white people aren't allowed to speak on such matters. So I guess it's not really that helpful, but I appreciate it anyway. Anyway, we don't have to talk about this anymore if you all don't want to. I mean, I'm happy to keep talking about it, but I knew it would come up, so I was prepared to give my take on it. I'm just sad because, I mean, now I'm kind of enjoying the memes about it, but I just thought it should have been memes from the beginning. Why did people like bring race into it and shit? Like, yeah, I kind of hesitate to use slippery slope arguments, although I think some of them are legitimate. But we do have to decide. Like, clearly there are times when violence is necessary. Like, if someone is stealing your freedom or something, it might be the right thing to do, to use violence to regain your freedom, you know, stuff like that. But we need to figure out where the line is between somebody telling a shitty joke and someone stealing your freedom. I don't think those things are very close together, but where in between those things is the line where you're allowed to use violence against someone, you know? What kind of precedent does this set for comedians in the future? When you're hosting an event like that, it's expected that you roast people. Yeah, that's I mean, that's definitely part. I think a comedian should be able to do their job without fearing that someone's going to attack them. But again, there's a large subsegment. I don't know. There's a large segment of people online who truly, unironically think that comedians should not be able to say certain things. And that's one thing I highly, thoroughly disagree with, and I kind of always have. And that's one of the things that I butt heads with my audience a lot, is this kind of crusade against comedians. As a pro wrestling fan, I thought all verbal conflicts were supposed to be resolved via violence. That's the thing. I talk about this a lot, about how the real world is not a movie. It's not fiction, but if people treat the world like it's fucking fiction. Where was security? I don't know. That's one of the most bizarre things. This man walked up there slowly. This man walked up slowly, slapped a man in the face, and then left the stage slowly. Nobody did anything. Subset. I think that's the word I was trying to think of. And yeah, I wonder, well, I don't know. Well, see, that's the thing I was saying earlier. It might have been a bad look if Chris Rock like tried to press charges or something. Because again, probably just because they're both black, and that seems like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey said that if it happened to him, he would have sued him. Yeah, I feel like most people thought it was staged for a minute. Some people still think it's staged. Yeah, he they gave him an award and gave him a standing ovation. You can't tell me this is the right timeline. The man just committed an actual crime on live television, and then they gave him an award, and a bunch of people gave him a standing ovation. You can't tell me this is the right timeline. Come on now. What platform do I think is worse, YouTube or Twitch? Kind of depends on what you mean. Twitch is like the better streaming platform, but YouTube is way better for like building an audience. But Twitch just has like more options for streamers and for people who like to watch streamers. Like better technology, more things you can do. But but it's like almost impossible to build an audience on Twitch. I mean, I want to hear. I mean, is the argument that comedians are not allowed to make jokes about black women? Because that's, you know, to me, that's absurd. Like this is what I've been mentioning all stream, is there's a lot of people who want to say that comedians can't say certain things, and it's hard for me to imagine that I will ever agree with that. What do you mean by can't say though? Like shouldn't or illegal? Somewhere in between illegal. First of all, I think many people would applaud if they made certain types of joke illegal. I think people would be very happy with that. But I don't know if people are literally looking to change the law, but they are looking for there to be consequences for telling certain types of jokes, which includes apparently being slapped, being smacked, being physically attacked. I think each comedian has the responsibility to determine what they are and aren't going to say, and they can deal with the consequences. But it is not appropriate for those consequences to include someone attacking them. You can boycott them, you can criticize them, you can start a hate a fucking online community that's formed just around hating that person. You can write a 2-hour video essay talking about how shitty they are, but you can't attack them physically, and you can't arrest them just for telling a joke. That's just a society cannot work like that. So if the argument is not people, so it sounds like the argument is you shouldn't make jokes about black women, and if you do, you deserve to get hit in the face. If that's not the argument, please tell me what the argument is. Because if that's the argument, I think that's ridiculous and just completely wrong. Well, see, if the reason that you're boycotting someone is because you want them to not, if you want them to make less money or be less popular, you're missing the point. You don't. That's not the. Well, I mean, I'll take that back. But if you're not satisfied until these people are punished, that's not. First of all, like, find something better to do with your life, you know? Find things that bring you joy rather than, you know, fucking spending time worrying about what comedians are talking about. So there's not a joke someone could say about you that wouldn't get them slapped. Are you talking to me? This is the thing. This is why I was so stressed out. Like the fact that you're even asking that stresses me out, because I thought that we all agreed that adults don't behave like that. It doesn't even occur to me to physically attack people because they said a mean thing about me. That doesn't even occur to me as an option. So the argument is you shouldn't make fun of someone for their body. And if you do, you deserve to get hit. Correct? Or not correct? Again, that's just as wrong as the other thing I said. Like, I don't know, there's something that, like, when I was younger, I used to feel really like out of step, out of touch with the rest of humanity. And I feel like a lot of people feel like that. But as I got older, I realized that was it's kind of a dangerous way to feel. And it's good to try to figure out more what you have in common with people than what you don't have in common with people. Because I do think, we're kind of all in this together and we're trying to figure out life just like everyone else. But I really felt out of step with like the rest of the world with this. And it made me like really stressed out and sad. It was very unexpected. I mean, I also have the opinion that the joke wasn't that bad, but I don't even need to have that opinion to still think that Will Smith was in the wrong. Like, I will grant, I can grant you that maybe the joke was terrible and offensive and harmful. I don't even really think that, but I will grant you that. And even so, I still think you don't get to hit people. Now, obviously, I mean, I think there are many reasons to be kind to people and to not tell shitty jokes about people. And one of those reasons is that someone might get mad and hit you. But that doesn't mean that they were justified in doing it. But it's a possibility, and because of that possibility, there's a good reason. There's one of many good reasons to not be like that. I fully agree with that. So don't get me wrong on that point either. Yeah, I mean, Dustin, right now, it's not even really about Will Smith. For me, it was about how so many people defended this type of action, and it kind of stressed me out because I don't like the idea that so many people think it's okay to assault people, to attack people, just for saying something. So it's not even really about Will Smith particularly anymore. Like I said, I was fully prepared just to embrace the memes after it happened, when it initially happened. I fully think there's absolutely more to this story than what we saw on the screen. Absolutely. I fully believe that. Like, obviously we don't know any of these people personally, but we have seen all of these people and how they interact in the public space. And this just seemed completely bizarre. Do you think Chris should have clapped back with a joke or held himself back? I was thinking about that as well. See, this is another reason why it was just a bad idea for Will Smith to do that. Because Chris Rock, I mean, I don't know what you all think about Chris Rock, but Chris Rock is, like, in my opinion, is one of the best comedians of all time. Historically, I mean, his act these days just is not really that sort of groundbreaking, I would say, but the man is very clever, and I think if he wanted to, he could have decimated Will Smith verbally on the stage. But he chose not to, and there's many reasons why he didn't, because he was doing a job. He knew he had a job to do. Also, maybe he understood where Will was coming from. But I was thinking about that as well. Like, you know, Chris Rock could have roasted the shit out of you and had like 10,000 people laughing at you, you know, and that would have been a very, very bad look for you. I don't think there's 10,000 people there, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's just another tangent. That's neither here nor there. But I thought, I was thinking about that. It's like Chris Rock could have decimated you right now. I mean, yeah, I think he would have been in his right to tell those jokes. I think he would have been in his right to defend himself as well. You don't get to just hit people. That's not how it works. Again, like I said, like, I don't know if y'all, I was watching Undisputed, Shannon Sharp, Skip and Shannon. I don't know if y'all watch that. It's like a sports show, but Shannon Sharp is hilarious. And he said, and I not that I agree, but I know people, like, if someone is marching up to you, you know that they're mad. You might fear for your physical well-being and swing first, or pull out a weapon and defend yourself, or at least just square up ready to brawl. Like, when someone attacks you, you then have the right to defend yourself. I fully believe that. I'm not a turn the other cheek kind of person. You get to defend yourself. No one has the right to just harm you and you just let them do it. Now, that would have been a shit show, and I'm glad it didn't happen. Honestly, a slap, it seems a little more disrespectful than a punch. Again, I think this is just them catching up with the members, but thanks to M and Angela for supporting the channel. It seemed like a pretty obvious case of toxic masculinity to me, but apparently toxic masculinity is okay as long as you're defending black women. I mean, a slap is like I think you slap someone when you know that they're not going to hit you back. That's kind of like what a slap kind of signifies to me. So it's like super disrespectful. It's like, oh, it's like something you do to a child. I mean, please don't slap your children, but like, it's shit like that. I mean, I just want to know what the argument is. I don't think, unless I missed it, the chat's going back pretty fast, but I haven't heard what the argument is. And what it is about my argument that's wrong. It's like, so the argument is you can't make jokes about black women, or the argument is toxic masculinity, embarrassing yourself in public, doing dumb shit like that, assaulting people. That's okay as long as you're publicly defending black women, because black women are usually humiliated. Like, is that the argument? I don't like. If that's not the argument, tell me what the argument is. I missed that part. No one can accuse me of not supporting black women. Anyone who knows anything about my content or anything that I say, all the videos I've done, that I don't think that's the thing you can accuse me of. So we can throw that out the window. But what's happening now is Will Smith did something super stupid and super ridiculous, and so many people are defending it, and I think it's super dumb. We can talk about, the plight of black women, and I've done that before, and I probably will do it again. But right now, there's a bunch of people that did stuff, and there's one person that I think was way more in the wrong than everyone else. So that's the person I'm talking about. Is violence ever excusable? Violence against someone who said something? Unlikely. But in general, sure. If someone attacks you first, for example, like if Chris Rock would have defended himself against Will Smith, I would have been fine with that. If someone, kidnaps you and ties you up, if you gotta, knock him out or stab him or shoot him to free yourself, yeah, sure. So yeah, I can think of many situations where violence is acceptable. In response to someone saying a thing, I almost know situations where I would be okay with that. Jack, I understand that as well. But I guess what I thought is that it was more of a meme, a feeling. Talk shit, get hit. I guess that was just kind of more of a meme than a thing that people would actually do or justify when it came down to it. But I was wrong about that, and that's why I got so stressed out. I mean, a lot of y'all are saying that most people agree that Will Smith was in the wrong, but that has not been my experience at all. Not on Twitter and not among a lot of my friends. But it's good to know that y'all are saying that. So yeah, like I was genuinely getting sad, and my anxiety was fucking with me because of this, and it shouldn't be, because it was like two mega rich people doing something stupid, but it was just the reaction to it that was like totally unexpected. Yeah, well, I think the thing is, and I thank you for clarifying that. You say you're not arguing in defense of Will, because it sounded like you were. So I appreciate the clarification. But I also think, like, if I make an argument and then someone says, well, what about this, or what about the other side, that makes me think that you think the other side is either right or is equally a thing. And my point is, I don't think it's equal at all. I think Will Smith 100% is in the wrong. But that's my position that a lot of people don't agree with. But yeah, I figured we would talk about this during the stream. But we that's kind of the gist of my take, really. I mean, I've talked a lot about how, I think retribution is just kind of a dumb concept to begin with. But regardless, even if it wasn't, like, if Will Smith would have went up there and shot Chris Rock in the head, would people still be defending it? Do you think? At this point, I honestly don't know. I would like to say no, but I honestly don't know. So there's a level, clearly there's a line. And I guess my line is before the violence even occurs, but other people's line, I guess, is a little bit further. Michael Richards could have gotten slapped back in the day. I mean, that's a great example because that's, well, I mean, I guess it's not really similar, but it's a, you know, it's a comedian telling jokes, but you know, you don't get to assault people. You still don't get to attack people. I will say I'm surprised that he didn't, assuming that he didn't get attacked, because that was some pretty hardcore. The level of that though, I don't even remember what he said. I feel like, didn't he say like some threatening stuff? I can't remember. Anyway, we can talk about something else if y'all want. And especially like now that Will himself has apologized, although some people think it was just a PR thing, which to some extent it was, but I think a lot of that is people wanting to protect their view that Will Smith was in the right. Do I have any pets? Nope. It was interesting, and I don't want to say like I know these people, but you know, Will Smith's public persona is like this sort of happy, fun-loving guy. Obviously, we know there's, you know, especially when we're talking about Will and Jada and like their kind of tumultuous relationship. But yeah, it was so bizarre and just seemed out of character. And there's a lot of other things, like maybe Chris Rock, maybe Will found out Chris Rock was going to do a joke and Will told him not to, and Chris did it anyway. You know, there's a lot of things that could have happened that still doesn't justify it. And Chris Rock seems like, I mean, maybe Chris Rock is just a huge asshole in real life. I don't know. But he seems like a sensible guy. Could Will not have walked up to the man during the commercial break and said, hey, I would appreciate it if you didn't talk about my wife like that because we've been going through some things. She has a medical condition. Please don't do that. Not saying that would have solved all the problems, but that would have been a much better look. And I feel like most humans would be perceptive to that, but maybe not. I don't know. The Russians are talking about pulling out of Ukraine. I'm not caught up on what's going on with that. I don't know how many of y'all were here, but you know, I did a stream where I looked over like the basics of what was going on in Russia and Ukraine, and I feel like the next day it just popped off even more. So it just, you know, things keep sort of developing. I'm not a drinker. Do you drink for the taste? Kinda. I think it's like 50% for the taste and it's like 75% for the buzz and 25% for the taste. It depends though. And also most alcohol is an acquired taste, so most people don't, well, I won't say most people, but a lot of people don't like alcohol the first time they taste it, and they kind of like force themselves to learn how to like it, either for social reasons or just because they like getting drunk. Yeah, the Ukraine situation is wild. It changes so rapidly. Yeah, like I distinctly remember one of the things that I noticed when I first was looking into it was like they were sort of strategically targeting government buildings, government facilities, and military facilities and things like that. And then like the next day I heard, oh, they're just attacking fucking civilian apartment buildings and shit, attacking civilian safe houses. And it's like, holy moly. All right, Impatient Ape, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully it wasn't too combative. The more you drink in a night, the better it tastes. Maybe. But I mean, I'm at the point where I like genuinely enjoy the taste of beer. I mean, there's some beers that I think are gross, but generally I enjoy the taste of beer. But I know that I did not always enjoy it. Like when I think I tasted my first beer. I mean, I'm sure like when I was a kid, I like snuck some of my dad's beer or something, but I first like had my own full beer in high school and I thought it was disgusting. I like could not finish it. But now I'm into it. Same thing with like liquor. Although these days I don't really like most types of liquor. I like whiskey a lot, but I hate tequila. I don't like vodka. I hate gin. I can do rum because rum's kind of similar to whiskey. So even with that, I haven't acquired the taste for all those. If Russia just says, hey, we're done with the war thing and goes back, do you think they get any consequences done to them? Probably. I mean, I think the world community would probably do something. They would try to do something. I don't know how effective anything they would be though. And I'm not that familiar with, you know, Russia and how the country operates. Like, is it possible for Putin to be ousted or to lose an election or something? Is that a thing that could happen? I don't know. What 25% are you tasting? Well, it depends. I mean, I think there are a lot of like cocktails that just genuinely taste good. With beer, I don't know, it's kind of like coffee. You know how like coffee is kind of bitter, but it's like it's a pleasant bitterness. That's kind of how beer is. It's like a pleasant bitterness. Also, most beer is like, it's like carbonated. I don't know if y'all would like drink sodas and stuff. You know how like a Sprite or a Coke is just like really refreshing sometimes, like just a cold soft drink. That's kind of how beer is too. It's just like really like a cold beer is just like really refreshing sometimes. There are some beers that are kind of meant to be meant to be drank at warmer temperatures, and they're still good, but most beers are like really good when they're cold. I see. Yeah, I don't imagine that they would lift sanctions. Yeah, I think the problem is that it's hard to sanction a country, or you know, to sanction a head of state or a country without affecting the regular people. That's kind of, but also that's kind of the point, is you want, you kind of want the people to be pissed off at the head of state, because the head of state is doing shit that is causing them to suffer through sanctions. But Russian propaganda is apparently pretty strong, so they could probably, you know, spin that message in their favor. Didn't an actor shoot and kill someone on set? Are you talking about Alec Baldwin? In Europe, they often drink beer at room temp. Yeah, I think certain types of beer are fine at room temp, but like this, like a cheap Coors Light, this is absolutely gross if it's not cold. Shouldn't Putin go to jail for war crimes? A lot of people should go to jail for war crimes, including Putin. Yeah, I think it's usually the darker beers that are good in at room temp. Plane Crafter? I never heard of that, but seems cool. Existential survival sandbox game. Historically, sanctions have just made the sanctioned population angry at the sanctioning country, not their leader. Is that right? Is that true? I can't help but to wonder if Will would not have behaved differently if his masculinity hadn't been under constant assault after Jada's recent very public revelations. I don't know. I think there's clearly a lot of conflict in Will and Jada's relationship. You know, but a lot, you know, they've talked about, I guess they've talked about, or at least people have talked about how they have an open marriage, or how they've had an open marriage, but apparently they like separated for a while, and she was like with another dude, and yeah, I don't know, like there's just too many holes in the story for really me or anyone else to really know, I think. But I think there is, yeah, there's something there for sure. I'm gonna play God of War Ragnarok. Maybe. I actually have not played the God of War games, like, at all. Russian people don't seem to agree with Putin at all. I think a lot of them do. There's clearly some protesters and things of that nature, but a lot of people, from what I've seen, I don't know what the percentage, I don't know if it's a minority or majority, but there are people who support him for sure. I follow the I follow the chess community, for example, and there's a Russian chess grandmaster that recently got suspended because he showed support for Putin. And he said something like, "I'm a patriot first and a chess player second." It's like, cool, dude. I think cocktail drinkers actively like the taste. I like dark chocolatey beers for their taste, but Ambers can get it too. Yeah. I mean, like, there's certain drink, like, for example, a Long Island iced tea. I think that would probably taste good to most people because it kind of tastes like iced tea. So you don't really have to acquire the taste for that. And that shit will get you drunk. But here's a pro tip. Don't order a Long Island iced tea at a bar. That the bartenders will hate you because it's annoying to make, especially if it's a busy place. It's annoying and it takes too long to make. That's why they're so expensive, because it doesn't really have, I think it has like maybe the equivalent of 2 shots of alcohol in it. So it's like very overpriced, but they charge a lot because it's kind of obnoxious to make. And also, like, well, I was gonna say if you get like a Jack and Coke, most people would like that, but maybe not. Because you can still pretty much taste the whiskey a bit in those. But then there's certain drinks that you kind of like have to enjoy the taste of the liquor in order to enjoy the drink, you know? Like an old fashioned, for example, that shit is like straight whiskey for the most part. I mean, you know, there's like some bitters and some sugar and stuff in it, but you gotta like whiskey in order to enjoy an old fashioned. It's 2:26 in Sweden. You can't sleep. I'm sorry you can't sleep. I've had some days where I can't sleep, and I was not a fan. I was thinking it was later over there. Actually, that's not too bad. I routinely stay up past 2:26, so. I feel like the fact people are rebelling publicly at all in a country with a history of dissenters being mysteriously poisoned is notable. Yeah, I don't really have a good read on what it's like to live in Russia, but I've always got the sense that it was generally similar to, you know, any other country, but there's just a lot of shady shit going on in the background. So the Russian people probably, I wonder if they know, or do they actively feel like they're putting their lives on the line when they protest? Because, like, for example, in America where I live, I feel like most people, when they go out and protest, they generally don't think that they're going to get killed or arrested. And then, you know, unless they do something that's like actively illegal. But it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, they're like arresting people in Russia just for protesting, right? Is it illegal to protest in Russia? I'm not sure. Gin too. If you don't like gin, it's hard to like gin drinks. Yeah. I think this is the most pushback Putin has ever gotten, and that's notable. They say that well, yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if that's true, but it might be true. On the alcohol thing, I've heard that vodka is supposed to be like the least, or like it's supposed to taste the most neutral out of all of the spirits, and that's why, you know, vodka drinks are often given to people who don't drink a lot. But to me, vodka has a very strong taste, and it like ruins anything you put it in. T1J, how do you deal with the impending fascism in the US? How do you deal with it? I mean, I don't know all the answers. I think we should like stop voting for fascists. That would help. Outside of that, I mean, I think voting is important. I feel like a lot of people may undersell the importance of voting. I think voting is really important. But outside of that, the only thing that I know to do is to try to share good ideas to counter the bad ones. Do you think the fact that he stayed in power that long would be a red flag to the citizens? Well, not if the propaganda is strong enough. I love how I lost like 30 people left the chat after I stopped talking about Will Smith. What do I think is worse, alcohol or weed? I mean, definitely alcohol, but I mean, alcohol is fine if it's used responsibly. But I mean, I can barely even think of anything wrong with weed. Obviously, it's not the most well-studied substance, but as far as I know, no one's ever died on weed. No one's ever overdosed on weed. Weed doesn't turn you into like, well, I was gonna say weed doesn't turn you into sort of like a buffoon, but that kind of depends. But generally, weed doesn't impair your judgment that much, whereas alcohol just turns you has the potential to just turn you into a monster, depending on who you are. And obviously, alcohol can just straight up kill you if you have too much of it. I think weed will. It's possible, I guess. I don't think it's ever happened. I've actually never seen Reefer Madness. I wouldn't be surprised if there were long-term effects of weed, like especially if you smoke it. Like there's no way that inhaling smoke into your lungs every day for 50 years is good for you. Like I just can't imagine that that's good for you. But I could be wrong. Just because I can't imagine something does not mean that it is wrong. That is a classic logical fallacy. But if I had to guess, if I had to put money on it, I would guess that it's probably not bad for you, or probably not good for you. You think if Will Smith had slapped Putin instead, people would be cheering, or would he be called an imperialist? Wait, I lost it. Oh, imperialist advocating for regime change. That's a question right there. First of all, I think if Will Smith slapped Putin, would probably be immediately sort of taken out. I don't think that I feel like at least in America, I can't speak for other countries, but in America, I don't think most of us really like Putin that much. And that's like across the board. I mean, it seemed like Trump was kind of enamored by Putin, so a lot of Trump people like Putin. But in general, I think both on the left and right, we're not big Putin people here in America. So I'm not sure that many people would be taking his side. What's this beat name? This is made by my brother. It was called Slayer. Good movie to watch high with friends, especially the colorized version. I swear to God, color the smoke. Oh, I'm sure they do. Do you think that we don't see talk for Afro and Asian genocides and wars headed by fascism as much as Ukraine, because Ukraine is coded with similar values to Europeans? Absolutely, 100%. I think that's one of the reasons why this is such a big deal that's been covered so much. Like There was a war in Afghanistan for like what, like 20 years or some shit. And we heard about it every now and then, but it didn't dominate the news like this. Like it may, when it like first happened, maybe, I don't know. Granted, this Ukraine thing, you know, it's been what, like a month or so. Yeah, they say that marijuana is bad for kids, which I mean, I would have, you know, discouraged people from letting kids get marijuana anyway. But yeah, I mean, what are you guys arguing are the negative side effects of weed? I mean, it impairs your motor functions. Yeah. It can make you overeat. It's a poorly understood thing. Is there like I keep seeing something, like when I look in the feed, I keep seeing something fly across the screen, but I don't see it in real life. Similar value. Yeah, I mean, I kind of extrapolated that to just meaning white, but I understand what you're saying. Similar values to Europeans. Smoking anything isn't going to be great for you. That's true, but I feel like, you know, what do we know about, like, for example, smoking cigarettes? To be fair though, cigarettes are like kind of absurd, and there's like, has so many things that they put in them, but have we seen any of those negative effects, like lung cancer, throat cancer, gum disease and shit? Have we seen that with weed? I don't think we have, which is a bit crazy. But again, we haven't studied it that much, so we're not totally sure. But I mean, like I said, I do agree it's probably not great to inhale smoke into your lungs all the time. But we just haven't seen what can happen. Yeah, that is true. A lot of stoners are always coughing. Yeah, I mean, I think that marijuana is, I mean, it's not like some kind of miracle thing that, you know, has no negative effects, but it really seems to be pretty low harm compared to almost any other drug. Only thing I can verify is taking too big of hits is definitely I will agree with that now. Like one time I took a really big grab hit and just passed out. And it's like, I mean, it was fine, but it's like, you probably shouldn't be passing out. That's like lack of oxygen basically. And you don't want to do that. But yeah, these days, there are a lot of other ways besides smoking to do that. Yeah, I mean, generally something being harmful to an individual to me is not even enough justification to make it illegal. If we determine that it's like harmful to society as a whole or something like that, then yeah, but it is, and I think probably most of us agree that it is kind of absurd that we've so thoroughly welcomed alcohol into our culture, but weed is still kind of taboo. That makes no sense. The grab days were dirty. Man, we used to do some dumb shit in college. We used to make pipes out of aluminum foil. There's no way that's beyond the marijuana. That's like you probably shouldn't be doing that. That's fucking metal. Yeah, I've done the soda can thing. The straight up crackhead smoking. Yeah, even like some of the things we eat are just as, if not more harmful than some of these drugs. Do I think Michael Jackson would have done all 50 shows he was scheduled to do? I mean, he probably would have if he could have. Speaking of alcohol, I think I'm gonna grab, well, I've got like a couple sweets, but I think I'm gonna grab another beer. I think I have one more left. I actually don't, I don't drink that much at home. I pretty much only drink like special occasions when I'm going out, things like that, but I just had a couple beers in the fridge left over from when I had a friend over, so I figured I'd knock them out. I've been trying to cut back on drinking. Because especially after a certain age, your body like does not react well to certain levels of alcohol. I feel like we're having a personal conversation. It's nice to talk to someone else. Well, that is why I like these streams. I've said this in the past. Unfortunately, like when you become somewhat popular, and listen, I'm not that popular compared to other people, but you know, I have a decent audience. But once you become popular, you kind of lose the relationship with your audience because it just becomes too big. It's like too many people talking at once. Like I don't even read YouTube comments that much anymore, really. Like I read YouTube comments like the first hour after I post videos, and I just don't read them anymore because it's just too much. So I don't really, you know, I kind of, it's a little bit sad, but I understand, and I'm not that, okay, what the fuck, someone's spamming my chat. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I just saw that I was getting spammed. I was like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, so it's like, you know, I'll interact with people. People will tweet at me. People will send me comments and messages, but I don't really feel like it's any kind of like I don't really feel like a person. I feel like, oh, this is a person who's a fan of my channel. But the streams are the last thing that I have that where I still kind of feel like a person that's just talking to other humans. That's like the last thing that I have. And eventually that's going to go away too. If, you know, assuming the stream continues to grow, because, you know, there are streamers who have thousands of people in the chat. And at that point, it's like impossible to really communicate in any like feasible way. But right, like the stream is like the last thing I have, I think, where it actually feels kind of personal. A little glad you don't read all the comments. Sometimes I drunk comment. Hey, me too. Yeah, people have to pay super chats when the when there's thousands of people. Like, pretty much the only people who get their comments read are people who super chat. It's pretty sad. Like, it's indicative of a person's growth as a content creator, which is good. But I will say, you know, another way that you can have more personal conversations is by joining Discords. And I do have a Discord if anyone's interested in that. So if the stream gets too out of control, I think Discord will probably be the last bastion of normal conversation. Yeah, I mean, those streamers, like those really big streamers, I think that's kind of a testament to just their proficiency at what they do. They're really good at eyeing interesting comments among the thousands that scroll by every second. You know, I barely can keep up. You know, I think the most people I've streamed to is like 200-300, and I was having a hard time keeping up with that. And I kind of feel bad when, like, you know, even now, you know, I miss a lot of comments. And I kind of feel bad that I miss a lot of comments, but it's like I can't read every single one. I really can't. And sometimes not every comment requires a response, which I understand. But I do miss a lot of questions, and it makes me feel bad. But, you know, that's just how it is. Where'd I get the background music? The background music was actually created by my brother, who's called John Ivory. I don't know if how active he is with music. I think he's still doing music, but he does it more privately, like offline, like a face-to-face with people. But he does a lot of like he helps me with video editing, and he does a lot of stuff like that as well. Very talented individual. Is this still a parasocial relationship for us, the viewers? Like, if you feel like we're humans and we all obviously feel like you're real versus a celebrity persona? Well, I mean, it's up to you if it's a parasocial relationship. I don't really know how you all feel about this relationship. It is important, I think, for you all to know that, like, this is cool, we're chill, but like, we're not like friends or anything, you know? I'm not gonna call you on your birthday, and I don't expect you to do the same. Like, it is very likely that once I turn the stream off, I will no longer think about anyone in this chat until the next time I turn the stream on. And it's important for y'all to realize that. But while we're here, that doesn't mean we can chill and talk about stuff. And I will say that, but that doesn't mean that, you know, this interaction is like not useful or not real or not like important. Like I mentioned before, I don't know how many of you are, you know, were here for when we were talking about Will Smith, but I actually like genuinely started to feel a little better after the conversation that we had, because I was feeling really stressed out at the beginning. So, you know, it's still real. My brother does a little bit of graphic design. I don't think that he would call himself a designer though. But he does do a lot of video editing. I mean, he does a lot of graphic design. I don't even know why I said that, but he just does a lot of stuff. He's a creator, really. He just doesn't have his own brand. He just helps other people for now. I mean, I don't know what his goals are eventually, like ultimately, but I think that I forget what I was gonna say. Can you hire him for editing? If you would like to, you can email me about that, and I'll see if he's up for doing it, because he kind of has like a full-time editing job, and he also helps me with editing. So I don't know if he like is taking on a lot of freelance stuff, but I can ask him. Yeah, I really enjoy streaming actually. I couldn't do it as a living, like some of the people who stream for a living. I definitely couldn't do that, because streaming, while it is fun, it is also mentally taxing. And to be a professional streamer, you have to stream pretty much all day, every day. And I just have no desire to do that. That sounds exhausting. Maybe when I was younger, I could do that. Like my little brother, he doesn't do it for a living, but he streams pretty frequently. And I don't, you know, I don't want to do that. I also just would like to have free time. I don't want to stream all day, every day. That seems like a pretty unappealing life to me. But I do like streaming. So, you know, I'll stream once or twice a week for a couple hours. Like, that's fine. I think that's cool. Fang, I think you might be thinking of FD Signifier, but maybe you're trolling. Everything I get into grand strategy games. What is an example of a grand strategy game? I've ever considered streaming in costume. I'd love to see you cosplay Dracula. That's a very specific cosplay. That's kind of random. But I don't know. That's something I could do. I've been wanting to do a Bishop cosplay for years now, like Bishop from the X-Men, because I think that would be the perfect cosplay for me. I'm never gonna stream D&D again. Yeah, I actually would like to. I've been thinking about that. I would say keep your eyes open for that type of stuff, because I really would like to make some D&D content. It might be on a different channel. I'm not sure though yet. Speaking of FD, I would love to see y'all collaborate. Maybe so. I mean, I'm in we're cool with each other. We communicate, so that's definitely a thing that could happen for sure. Crusader Kings, Hearts of Iron, Civilization. I think I could get into those games. I never really played them, but I'm familiar with Civilization. That's the only one I'm familiar with, but I think those are games I could get into for sure, yeah. Europa Universalis 4? Universalis or Universalis? Which edition do you prefer for D&D? I have only ever played 5th edition D&D. I've never played any other editions. But I really like 5th edition D&D. I would consider streaming as a hobby, not a career. I mean, I like it as sort of an accessory to my career as a content creator, because I can't say it's just a hobby, because, you know, I make a little money from it. Every now and then people donate, things like that. But like I said, I would never do it full time. That just sounds awful. What's my D&D class? Generally Dungeon Master. But the last one that I played was, I think, a barbarian. At this point, I just try everything. I think probably my favorite class is fighter, which may be a surprise to a lot of people because it seems generic, but I honestly think they're like one of the most customizable and cool classes in the game. I think the last thing I played was barbarian though. Have I played Humblewood? I have not played it. I have heard of it though. You play as birds and rats. Yeah, that's right. I think I may have seen like some creators talking about it, like maybe Expedia Level 3 maybe talked about it. What's the typical Alabama dish? The typical Alabama dish. I think it's just, you know, we eat soul food in Alabama. So when I think of Alabama food, I think of like a meat and three type of place where you can go and get like some fried chicken and some greens and some mac and cheese and some cornbread. That's kind of what I think of. .5 is the best, and Pathfinder is essentially a better version of 3.5. I do know a lot of people love Pathfinder and 3.5. Do I have another job in addition to streaming and YouTube? I do not. This is my only job. Have I played TTRPGs outside of D&D 5e? Yeah, I've played at least one-shots in several different things. The only one that I've played more than a one-shot in is Vampire the Masquerade, which I love. I really love Vampire. But I've played one-shots in a lot of stuff. I played a lot of Call of Cthulhu one-shots. I've played some Powered by the Apocalypse stuff. There's another game I can't remember. It was like that. It was like one of those very simple ones, like Honey Heist, that type of stuff. It wasn't Honey Heist, but it was very similar to Honey Heist. Oh yeah, I would like to try the Echo Night. I haven't tried the Echo Night yet. What's the best steak dish you've ever tried? I don't know. I mean, I don't know like what the official state dishes are, but I can think of things that I just really like. Like, for example, shrimp po' boys are pretty native to New Orleans. That's not like a Louisiana state dish, but it's a kind of like a very traditional thing there, and that is like one of my favorite things to eat. Yeah, Lee, I think I made myself hungry. But that is also some shit that is not very good for you. You can't eat that all the time, but it is delicious for sure. It's funny that D&D is the TTRPG system I'm ultimately least familiar with. Yeah, it just depends on, you know, what you came up doing. I think the main reason that I got specifically into D&D, beyond the fact that it's the most popular, but like, it's just because of the content that I was watching. Like, I watched a lot of Dimension 20, and that made me really want to get into it. What would I have done if content creation hadn't worked? I don't know yet. I mean, I don't really know. There's a couple of possibilities. I may have like went back to school, because my original it wasn't really a plan. It was just like the only thing that kind of made sense was I was just going to get my master's degree and become an English teacher or something, or like a writing professor. So maybe that. But if it came down to it and I just needed money, I would just learn a trade or something, like learn how to be an electrician. Like, I have a friend who's an electrician who could have probably like got me an apprentice spot or something. If it just came down to it, I probably wouldn't have loved that, but you know, sometimes you just got to make money. Yeah, I've had Nashville hot chicken before. I like it, but I definitely like certain places more than others. I think the quality of it varies very widely. How's the weather in Alabama right now? It's probably like 60, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is warmish. It was actually a pretty nice day today. It was just kind of cloudy, sun was out, nothing too crazy. Because we, you know, in Alabama, you never know. Like, and also like we've had a lot of tornado scares. This is just kind of the time of the year where the tornadoes start coming, and then we get like thunderstorms and stuff. No worries. I don't know if it's F-Ang or Fang, but no worries, it's all good. I'm gonna grab one more beer, and then I'll probably finish that beer and then close out the stream. BRB. The South gets like 2 weeks of cold weather and not sequentially. Yeah, that's definitely right. I'm still not sure if the winter season is over here. Like, we've had a couple warm days, but we will probably have a random below freezing day like next week or something. that's how the weather is in the South. Do you feel like all the good food we have in the South is our reward for putting up with the awful politicians running our states into the ground? I mean, if that's how you want to look at it. What's your skincare routine? Out of curiosity, do you ask that because my skin looks good, or is that just like a general question? When's We Can Beat Racism Part 2 coming out? I don't know. I have to sort of decide what I want to say. I honestly am a little bit disappointed with that video. I don't know how you all feel, but I think it's just a video that I should have said more. It should have been way longer, but you know, it was just one of those situations where I had to finish the video. But there's just so much you can say on that topic, and it's hard to just crack the surface on such a thing. Did I enjoy making the stream? I did. It's just interesting. Okay, so I'm still learning about how skincare works. But it's wild to me because I like back in the day, I never used to get any comments about my skin ever. And then I like started I started a skincare routine, and then I started getting comments about it. It's crazy. It shouldn't be crazy because you would expect that, but it's like, oh man, it's actually working. Because sometimes I can't really tell if it's doing anything, if it's working. And I was like, maybe it's just because my camera's better or something, but it's like, I mean, this camera isn't even that good. I don't know. Anyway, I have a very basic skincare routine. I don't really know what is considered. I did like a very small amount of research, but I don't know what one skincare routine from the next one is. But so yeah, wash my face. And I can't even tell you the products because I don't even remember, but I've been trying a bunch of different products though, so I haven't really settled on what I think is mine. But yeah, cleanser, wash your face, and then exfoliate. And I just kind of bought this like exfoliating scrub. I've been watching Hiram. I don't know if y'all know Hiram. He's a YouTuber that talks about skincare. I think it's called Hiram. Yeah, Hiram. And he said you're not supposed to use scrubs. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try something different next time. But it's been working, I guess. So use the exfoliating scrub. And then moisturize. That's it. I will say I'm a beauty YouTuber now, y'all. But I will say the moisturizer that I use, I fucking love it, and I do recommend it. So I'm gonna tell you what it is. Pharmacy Daily Greens. Can I hold on? This thing right here. This thing is fire. Makes your face feel real good. And I feel like a lot of moisturizers, like if I don't know, it just like cakes up on your skin. It's all thick and it feels like you're like, I don't know, it feels like you're wearing a it feels like you put glue on your face or something. But that stuff feels really good. Not sponsored, obviously. But yeah, that's it. I don't use toner. Every time I've tried to use toner, it like makes me break out. And I've tried like 3 different ones. So I don't know what the deal is with that. So I just kind of just stopped using it. Do I watch soccer World Cups? Not really. Sometimes you can't, like if the United States is in it, usually it's hard to avoid. But if the United States is not in it, no one will be talking about it. Chemical exfoliants are generally better than scrubs because they can create micro scratches on your skin, which cause irritation. Yeah, I don't know. That's what Hiram said, and he seems like he knows what he's talking about, so I'll probably try something else. I guess I don't really understand how that works, because isn't like the point of an exfoliant is like it causes like friction on your face, so that removes like dead skin and stuff like that. Isn't that kind of like what it is? So how do you do that without creating those micro scratches? I mean, I guess that's, you know, technology and stuff, but it is pretty expensive. I will say that. The moisturizer I showed, compared to what is available, it's pretty expensive. I think the exfoliating scrub I use is from Clean and Clear, I think, and that's literally just I with a very low amount of research, I just kind of bought something because I knew I wanted to get an exfoliating. So I will do more research when I replace that to see what I want to get next. Yeah, that's what toner seems like, is just alcohol. But yeah, it always dries out my skin and makes bumps form, so I just stopped doing it. I've tried alcohol-free toner too as well though, and it did the same thing. Gorga, I'm not gonna get too big into the Will Smith thing because we literally talked about it for an hour at the beginning of the stream. But I think the reason that people are saying it's about race is because it involves, well, everyone involved is a black person, but it was mostly about a black woman, or people sort of saying like you know, it's a black woman being insulted and a black man defending his black wife. And so it's kind of a conversation about like, what's the appropriate way to defend black women, and also is it okay for comedians to make jokes about black women when black women are sort of marginalized and humiliated all the time? And I think that's why a lot of people think that white people should stay out of it. I don't really agree with that, but I just want to explain in a general way what people mean. Do you ever find it's hard to stay on task without someone setting deadlines for you to make videos? Yes, I'm very bad at pacing, and I'm a very big procrastinator. In fact, deadlines are part of what has kept me consistent. I'm lucky enough that most of my videos have sponsors on them, and sponsors have deadlines. So that's part of what has kept me consistent. But I will also say sometimes deadlines make you, they kind of force you to put out a video even if you may not were ready to put it out, or if you didn't really think you had a great idea, but you just had to, you know, make something. So that's the downside of deadlines. But ultimately I think deadlines have been positive for me. Chemical exfoliants are basically acids that gently destroy the dead skin. Oh. Well, yeah, I'll try that. Honestly, what I'm probably going to do is just check out what Hiram recommends. Although sometimes he recommends really expensive stuff too. But I think he does have a video where he talks about more affordable stuff. I mean, I wish I got more into skincare when I was younger. Although it's just one of those things where men, there's just less, I don't know if it's lower standards for men or if, well, yeah, it's definitely lower standards for men. Because I didn't really have issues. Like, no one ever told me, yo, your skin sucks. And it may be because my skin didn't suck, but it clearly looks better now because I've gotten a lot of comments on it. But it's just an interesting thing that it's you know, that's so much more ubiquitous when it comes to women than men. But yeah, just, I don't know, there are a lot of things that I wish I sort of cared more about when I was younger, but you know, never too late. I'm just more interested in like being the best version of myself, both mentally and physically. That's kind of how I feel. That's what I've been trying to figure out in the last like 5 to 10 years of my life. I buy my stuff at TJ Maxx and the discounts. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's useful stuff there. The problem, like specifically, like I have a cheap cleanser and I have a cheap exfoliator. The reason that I spent more money on the cleanser is because I couldn't find one that didn't feel gross on my face. But again, that's just me not knowing what's available. And so I just saw that someone actually specifically looked for a black man on YouTube who had a skincare video. I forgot who I found. I didn't like subscribe or anything. I just found an individual video and they recommended that and I tried it and I love it. I'm 30, but people think I'm 20. I want to keep it that way. I don't think that people think I'm 20, but I think a lot of people think that I'm younger than I am. I don't know, maybe not anymore, but I feel like that's been the case for a while. Like I'm even interested in learning, you know, if there's any like simple makeup tips that I could use to make my face look cool. Like I am like very happy with the way I look generally. Like I think that I'm a good looking guy, but can I be even more good looking? That is the question. Like I don't want to look feminine or anything like that, but there's obviously makeup techniques that you can use that don't make you look feminine. I think that a lot of male, well, you know, like everyone on TV is wearing makeup for sure. But I think a lot of people on YouTube do it too. Even if they're not, you know, even if they don't talk about it. Yeah, I don't think I want glitter. That seems a little weird for me. But I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about. Yeah, I'll probably do more research about it. Or maybe, you know, maybe my face is fine. It also seems like the process of like having to put on and take off makeup all the time seems pretty much like a hassle. But it's probably no more of a hassle than a skincare routine. Lynn Howerton looks really different without makeup. I guess I've never seen him without makeup. Assuming you know, when he's on TV, he's usually wearing makeup. Do I think the Elvis biopic movie will bomb? Probably not. Kevin, I feel like all of your comments are written like clickbait YouTube titles with like this sort of random capitalization and punctuation. The Elvis biopic movie will bomb. Yeah, I had to decide. My beard is a little bit, I can't really tell. I had to decide what I wanted to do with my beard too. There was a minute where I was just letting it grow and it, you know, just kind of like a big mass right here. But I decided I think I like it better when it's kind of shaved down. And I can't really grow like a full thick beard. It doesn't fully grow. So I feel like just kind of like a close shave works out the best. But, you know, I don't know. And then there's what I like. And, you know, a lot of people won't admit it, I guess. But I also want to be, like, attractive to other people, particularly women. So it is interesting to me what women think are attractive as well. I take that into account. You know, ultimately I have veto power, but it is a big factor for sure. It seems like biopics always do well, though. I mean, I don't know about always, but these big ones that are like heavily marketed, you know, it seems like just kind of like obvious sort of Oscar bait, awards bait. Like they seem like they always do pretty well. Okay, now I see it. There's like a fly in here. It looks like guy liner. There's a lot of dudes that do that, right? I feel like celebrities get away with anything though. I don't know if this is the I don't see any black people. Is that real? See, I don't know if it's because there are no black people that do this. Obviously there probably are, but Google just doesn't like to show you black people. Anyway. Oh, what up, Feek? Yeah, I'm getting beauty tips from the chat. Apparently I should be wearing guy liner. Yeah, people were saying that we should do a collab. What do you think about that? But yeah, I don't know. I've been like I said, I just want to I just been interested in how can I make myself the most awesome, both outwardly and inwardly. Surely though, more important than being attractive to women is finding a woman who finds you attractive. Someone who sees you looking the way you like to look and says, oh fuck yes. That's true. I mean, I think ultimately that's right. I think though, I think maybe more so than just being attractive to women is I can be very sort of very hesitant to leave my comfort zone. especially when it comes to things like fashion and things like that. And so if I hear it's like, oh, you know that women like when dudes do this or wear this or look like this, that could be at least an excuse for me to step out my comfort zone and maybe find something that I like. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna do something that I don't like or I don't think looks good just to be attractive to women. Like, I won't do that. But it could be an excuse to try some new things for sure. Just a few tips away from T1J remaking the I Want to Cry, but my foundation was $48. Michael Jackson and Prince wore a guy liner. True. I think it's hard to talk about Michael Jackson and Prince. Like, they clearly embraced a level of femininity in their looks. Like, both of those dudes, like, I knew plenty of like straight women and, you know, probably other people that wanted to fuck both those dudes for sure. So I don't think that affected any of that, but they definitely embraced a level of, added like a level of femininity to their looks. That I don't think I would do. Not saying that it was the guy liner that did that, but it probably was part of it. I have experimented with painting my nails. I haven't done it in a while. I'm kind of iffy on it. I don't know if I liked it. It was unique. I really like color. I like splashes of color. And that was one cool thing about painting nails. Because I mean, a lot of this is very cultural and like based on conditioning and things like that. Because, like for example, I have a lot of sneakers, and one of the main reasons I have so many of them is because I like the variety of colors. But it's like, that's not that much different from like painting your nails just to add some color. It's just a cultural difference, you know. What video do you feel proud of making, old and new? It's hard. I mean, I would say I'm proud of most of my videos. I really, my most recent video, not most recent, but the video I did recently, whitewashing versus blackwashing in Hollywood. I think that video came out really well. I'm really proud of that. I think that's probably my best video in a while. My last video was like, okay, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like an older one that I'm really, really proud of, but most of my old videos are pretty cringe to me. The Cultural Appropriation Revisited video from 3 years ago, I think that's one of my best videos also. I did hear about Destiny getting banned from Twitch. I really don't know the full story behind all that though, but it really doesn't surprise me. Like, it seemed like that was something that was going to happen at some point anyway, because Destiny just does not give a fuck. Make a video about sneaker shopping and then you can write off all your sneakers. Man, I need to find a way to do that. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to make a video about sneakers that no one in my audience would care about? That shit would get like 1,000 views total. But now be able to write off my sneakers on my taxes. Honestly, I think it would be worth it. Because a lot of the sneakers that I buy are kind of expensive. Cringe in what way? Well, I generally mean like how they look. The production is often pretty bad. Just mainly like how they look and how they're made. Generally, the ideas are normally fine. I usually still agree with the ideas of my old videos, although occasionally there were things that I would say in a different way if I did it now. But generally, I mostly agree with my old videos still, because I've definitely evolved as a person, but by the time I got into the groove of making my channel, I kind of like knew who I was already, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, a lot of them are just like not well shot, not well lit. My performance is not very good. The editing is kind of weird sometimes. Some of them are good. Don't get me wrong. They're not all cringe, but some of them are cringe. What kind of Converse it is? I am a big fan of Jordans, particularly Jordan 1s, like the first ones that they came out with, that recently have seen like a resurgence in popularity, and they have like re-released it in so many different colors. To me, it's like the greatest sneaker ever made. So I've been buying a lot of those, and as you might imagine, Michael Jordan shoes are not cheap. Always like the nice guy that finished last video you made. I assume you're talking about you're probably not really a nice guy video. That's kind of the video that put me on the map, so I definitely have a fondness for that video. If I could, I could show you my shoe collection, but I can't really move the camera from here without, you know, a bunch of effort. But yeah, my closet is like back there, and luckily enough in this apartment I got like a pretty huge closet, so there's a lot of space for me to put my shoes. I honestly, compared to some people, I have a pretty tame shoe collection, but you know, I have maybe like 20 pairs of shoes, which seems like a lot. They're not all Jordans, but maybe like half of them are Jordans. But yeah, that would be, yeah, I've just been trying to find ways to write off everything that I spend money on. Luckily, a lot of the stuff that I spend money on is directly related to my videos, like cameras and lights and stuff. And I need to do more painting streams where I paint my D&D figures, so I can put all that shit, write all that shit off. And also, those are just cool streams, I feel like. Band-Aid is falling apart. These fabric Band-Aids just like, they just fray. Maybe just because it's, you know, my fingertips and that's where I like touch stuff, but I fucking cut my finger like chopping some onions the other day. Yeah, I don't know if they would. Is the mere fact that I drank a beer in a video, can I write it off? I don't know. Is the IRS listening? Maybe not. All right, the rabbit dude, thanks for checking out the stream. I actually am probably going to end the stream here in about 10 to 20 minutes myself. We did discuss beer during the stream. I don't know. Listen, it sounds like a joke, but that's something that I will seriously look up, because I don't want to leave any of that money on the table. Like there are YouTube channels that are specifically about alcohol, and I'm sure that they write off the alcohol that they buy for their channel. And it's like, there's no rule that says that my channel has to be about alcohol or about the thing that I'm using. Like, how meta do you have to get before the IRS can't figure it out anymore? Well, here's the thing, and this is something that I realized after talking to some people. The tax code is written for the benefit of people who run businesses. So I feel like the IRS, as long as you're not actively trying to screw them over, they're probably cool with it. Yeah, I mean, like, sort of exactly what you're saying, Vanalopen. But you know, I'm a type of person where I need to be sure that what I'm doing is legal, or else I'm just gonna be stressed out about it the whole time. But yeah, you know, the tax code is kind of designed to give business owners that kind of leeway, I'm pretty sure. Are you still a Tina Fey fan? Yeah, for the most part. Haven't really watched any Tina Fey related stuff in a long time. It's not like the cost of a couple beers is that much. True, but you know, imagine how many beers you buy throughout the course of a year. And to be fair, I don't buy that much beer. Like, I don't drink that much. But you know, you can imagine that. It's still not a lot, but it's like maybe you'll save like $100 on your taxes or something. Like, that's worth it. Yeah, there's I'm still, you know, taxes are hard, and they only get harder when you start a business. At least in America. I've heard that taxes are less complicated in other countries. Do I have a favorite comedian, actually? A favorite comedian? I don't know, really. I haven't really listened to the stand-up in a minute. I'm like drawing a blank right now. I like John Mulaney a lot. I don't know if he's like my favorite. I was a big fan of Hannibal Buress when he was like really active, but I feel like he's not that active right now, unless I'm just missing out what the fuck he's doing. Have I watched Roy? Yeah, Roy Wood Jr. is really cool. And Roy Wood Jr. is from Alabama, which is cool because that's where I'm from. I think he's actually from Birmingham, like this exact same city that I'm from. Oh, Josh Johnson's pretty good. COVID did a number on the stand-up game. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like, I mean, that's true. But these days, it just seems like, I feel like a few years ago, there was like all these up-and-coming comedians that were kind of gaining popularity and showing up here and there, get random gigs. But now all you hear is like, oh, Dave Chappelle has another Netflix special. Oh, John Mulaney has another Netflix special. And that's like all you hear about these days. Oh, David Mitchell is hilarious, for sure. Yeah, I've been introduced to a lot of British comedians recently because I became obsessed with the show Taskmaster, and I literally watched like 4 seasons of it straight. I've kind of taken a break from it, but I'm gonna go back and watch it. And you know, that show basically, the contestants on that show are basically comedians. So yeah, I've encountered a lot of those, and a lot of them are quite good. And of course, like, you know, Greg Davies, who's, you know, one of the main hosts of the show, is pretty hilarious. I think he's hilarious as a person. His stand-up is like a lot. I don't know if I can like deal with his stand-up, but like just as a person and as the host of that show, he's like absolutely hilarious. What if we did a BreadTube Taskmaster? I mean, someone should do some kind of Taskmaster. I'm surprised. That's like, I feel like we need like Mr. Beast to do that. He probably doesn't know what Taskmaster is though. There is a Taskmaster home game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there definitely is. I think the problem is no one in BreadTube is rich enough yet to put on a production like that. Like to do like a real Taskmaster or type show. Like you need a lot of resources and money. Like you would need to find like someone to sponsor it or something like that maybe. breadtube's still a thing. It depends on how you define breadtube. Like, are people still making YouTube videos about left-wing political topics? Sure. Is there some kind of like clique? Like some exclusive club that only certain people get to be in? Probably not. Are there leftists who stream and make content that are critiques of capitalism? Yeah. So it depends on how you define breadtube. Yeah, it would be cool to, like, I don't know if you guys watch Tom Scott, but he has a series where he just plays games with YouTubers. So they could definitely do that. And I think they also had something like that on the Polygon channel, where just a bunch of people just play games together. So yeah, we could maybe set something like that up. But we'd have to find a way to get people together. That's kind of the issue with not living in a city like LA or London, or just a place where there's a lot of people, because it's hard to like collaborate in that way. I mean, at this point, I don't even really think of myself as breadtube anymore. I feel like I just kind of do my own thing. I mean, insofar as I'm a left-wing YouTuber, I guess, but when I think of breadtube these days, I think of like these like streamers and content creators who are like particularly making videos that are like economic analysis and like analysis of capitalism and stuff. And it's like, you know, someone like H Bomber I mean, when's the last time you made a video about politics? Like, most of his videos are about video games, you know? And some of the people never talk about politics. It's like, I don't even know if that really counts. But yeah, I actually caught a little bit of that Foreign Man stream, and I do think more stuff like that would be really cool. So I like when people sort of step up to create events like that. That's really dope. Especially like in the like the black community on YouTube, the black, I don't know, how do you describe it? The black commentary community. Because I feel like that's an aspect of this whole like breadtube conversation that a lot of people leave out. It's like there's a lot of like black commentators and black video essayists out there that get left out of the conversation. And I think the only reason that I was included in the conversation is because people knew that I was friendly with people like ContraPoints and Lindsay and stuff. Who would you say is a great small channel that deserves more shine? Well, I mean, we just talked about him, but Foreign Man to Foreign Land is a channel that I'm actually surprised is still under 100,000 subscribers. But honestly, I'm still finding these people myself. And honestly, I feel a little bit bad about that because I was a little bit out of the loop, and I'm just now learning about these people. Like, you know, I don't know if FD Signifier is still here, but he I didn't even know about him for a long time. A lot of other people knew about him, and I didn't even know about him for a long time. And lots of other people. Oh yeah, a lot of people have mentioned art by Paya. Is that how you say it? Art of Paya. But I haven't checked out their videos yet. And then yeah, I think they're in my Discord. Is that what someone said? I feel like I've seen that, but I've seen the names either. The problem about YouTube is if you want to blow up on YouTube, you kind of have to play the YouTube game, the YouTube algorithm game. And a lot of people either don't know how to do it. I barely know how to do it. They either don't know how to do it or they're not willing to do it. And you know, that's kind of one of the things that holds a lot of people back. But I also think at the same time, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy because so what makes a video do well, or at least one of the things that makes a video do well, is someone sees a thumbnail or sees it and says, hey, that's something I want to watch. I'm gonna click on that and I'm gonna watch it. And I just think that's less likely if it's not a white person. And that sucks, but I mean, that's just the way the world is. Obviously, there are black creators who have done very well for themselves, so it's clearly possible. But I do think that there, you know, as with most things, it's probably a little bit of a harder battle. But yeah. But there is a lot of things that we can do, and maybe that's a way that I can help the community, is talk about just how to fucking work the algorithm. Because I think a lot of people, including myself, we think of ourselves as very creative people. And we want to make our stuff in a certain way that sort of creatively fulfills us. Or even if you're not a creative person, but you just feel like you want to inform people or educate people. So you just want to be, you know, very educational. But YouTube doesn't give a shit about any of that. All YouTube cares is if people click your video and if people watch your video. So you have to change your video so that it is more clickable and more watchable. And I think a lot of people, even people that have, you know, slowly built audiences, I think a lot of people don't understand that. Yeah, I mean, this is just one example, but if you notice, I rarely put my face in my thumbnails anymore. And I think my videos started getting more views when I stopped doing that. Now, I will say, I still put black people's faces in my thumbnails. So maybe it's not a race thing. Maybe it's just people don't give a shit about me personally. But I don't know. Because the black people that I put are like famous people. So it's not really a fair comparison. But yeah, I mean, YouTube's hard. Obviously, the main thing is just making really cool videos. You know, if anyone had like if I were to give just one bit of advice for anyone that makes YouTube videos, I would say the number one thing you should do is just make your videos amazing. And that's something that I think about a lot. Like, to me, when I look at people like the big bread tubers, the big video essayists, I think, so like I look at someone like ContraPoints, for example, big YouTuber, in a similar space as me, not quite the same. And I'm like, oh, so ContraPoints is killing it, over 1 million subscribers, doing amazing, and blew up quite fast. And then I look at myself, it's like, okay, why can't I blow up that fast? And it's like, so is it because she's white? Is that the reason? Maybe that's probably part of it. But then I say, honestly, in reality, are my videos as good as ContraPoints? And I don't know how any of y'all feel about that, but to me, the answer to that is obviously no. Okay. So I can't be mad that ContraPoints has more subscribers than me because my videos aren't as good. So if I get to a point where I think my videos are that good and I'm still not doing well, then that's when I can start to think about other stuff. But for now, what I need to do is get my videos on that level. So that's what I would say to anyone who's just trying to figure out what they should work on. Just work on your video. And once you get to a point where you think your videos are fucking amazing, then you can start thinking about other stuff. I do make more videos, but I mean, that was my choice, you know? And it's, you know, ContraPoints is a specific example. There is an aesthetic to them, but just also just in the level of the writing of the videos, the delivery of the videos. I just think it's on another level than pretty much everyone. I mean, I've said this before, but I think Natalie's like the best YouTuber. But when I look at those videos, I know that there's things that I can do better. Yeah, and you know, like I said, that's kind of my view. You all may disagree, but I don't think the quality balances out. I think one of ContraPoint's videos is worth like 20 of mine. Maybe not 20, that's a bit much, but you know what I mean. And I mean, you know, maybe that's just not the best example because they are so theatrical and things of that nature. But I just wanted to make the point that making the best content is the number one thing, in my personal opinion. I also think that politics in general is just a hard niche because political videos will never go mega viral. Like there's never going to be like a 50 million view video that is politically charged because videos like that are too divisive. But you can obviously still, you know, do pretty well with political videos. Like, you know, I mean, I don't know. There's you kind of have to decide what's important to you, I guess. Like if you want to make super controversial caustic, combative videos, there's probably a hard limit to how those are gonna do. I think there has to be some level of. They're back. What the hell? There has to be some level of reaching out to the audience and drawing in a new audience. You know, if you want the videos to be appealing to people. But I don't know. I personally think that you can grow a YouTube channel. Like, you could probably get 100,000 subscribers talking about literally anything. That's my theory, at least. You can make a video, you can make a channel specifically about fucking farts, and you could probably get 1,000. Actually, it'd be pretty easy to get 100,000 on that, but the thing is, you have to be kind of willing to play the YouTube game. And like I said, maybe that's something that I can talk about more in the future, because it's something that I have spent a lot of time studying. Obviously, I haven't mastered it, you know. Like, I just did a video, like my whitewashing video got almost 100,000 views, which is pretty good. But then the next video got 17,000 views, which I'm sure a lot of you would love to get 17,000 views. But for me, that's pretty bad. So I haven't really figured out everything myself, but you know. Is this like, oh, okay, never mind. I was like, is that spammer just trolling me? Because it doesn't even look like they're selling anything. But then I realized that the username is a URL. It's hard to know where the line is when trying to pander to people outside the party versus being in an echo chamber. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't even know if I have anything to add to that. I think it's just a true thing. And I think I'm on a different level than a lot of other more political people, more political content creators, because I don't really perceive my content as being like particularly important, I guess. Like, I think of myself as just another person in the conversation. I'm not trying to start a revolution. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to recruit people for an upcoming revolution. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to tell people what they should believe. I just feel like I'm another voice in the conversation. So that causes me to perceive my videos in a certain way, but I think other people are much more serious about what they're doing in a different way, and that might change how you perceive about what you're doing. I'm just trying to make some interesting videos pretty much and start interesting conversations and maybe spread some good ideas along the way. That's kind of all I'm doing. And because of that, I'm kind of okay with, you know, changing things up to appeal to different types of people, you know, trying to see things from other perspectives, things of that nature. Did I have a take on the Vosh JK Rowling thing? This is gonna start, I feel like it's gonna start another big conversation, which I probably won't be able to do, but This goes back to what I was saying before. I think people need to chill out with jokes. I think it's probably a bad look for Vosh, but people need to calm down about jokes. I think it's important because it's not as forceful. It doesn't feel like you're talking down to people, so those who disagree can watch through without being turned off. Yeah. The thing is, you can build an audience by being very combative and forceful and one-sided. You definitely can do that. People have done it for sure. But yeah, that's just not my values. Like that's not the way that I want to go about it. But I'm still trying to figure out, you know, what kind of stuff I want to do going forward, because I'm already kind of burnt out on politics. And honestly, and this may be like a sort of spoiler for things going forward, but I can't make just videos about politics and racism forever. Because there's only certain videos, a certain number of videos on those topics I can make, but also it just get burnt out. Like, it's like, man, a lot of this stuff is just not very fun. Like something like the whitewashing, blackwashing video, stuff like that is interesting, and then it's fun because you're talking about movies, you're talking about different things but like when you just make a video, it's like, hey man, a lot of cops are white supremacists, that sucks. That's just kind of depressing, man. I can't do videos like that all the time. So I think you will begin to see more of a wider variety of topics on my channel, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to even do it for much longer. Am I trying to change viewers' minds with your videos? With my videos? Not specifically. I am trying to make an argument in most of them. But if it doesn't change people's minds, I'm not like losing sleep over it. But I wouldn't make an argument if I didn't think it would be good if people believed it. So in a way you could say that I would like to change minds, but that's not the end goal, because if that was the end goal, I would be a massive failure, because that's really hard to do. The issue is almost every time I do a video that's not about social issues or politics, it doesn't get as many views. But that's fine. I think over time people will get used to it, and I can, it could be because they're not as good, and I can work on that, but But yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and end the stream. The time has kind of slipped away from me. I meant to end the stream about 20 minutes ago. It's actually starting to get late. It's about 9 p.m. here. But yeah, I think this was a really fun stream. We had a spirited conversation about the Will Smith situation at the beginning of it, and then from there we talked about, what did we talk about? I know we talked about skincare for a while. But yeah, anyway. Thanks for checking out the stream. As usual, I don't really have a solid schedule for the stream, so you just kind of have to show up and hope I'm there. The best way to keep up with the stream is just to click the notification bell and enable notifications. But I understand if you don't want to do that. Those things are kind of annoying sometimes. I only have that bell clicked for like four channels. So, but that's the best way to keep up with the stream. It just is. But I will try to stream again soon. And I should have a video coming out soon. I'm not sure the exact date, but look out for that. Once again, you know, a lot of people were talking about how the streams felt very chill and, you know, personal. If you want more of that, you can check out the Discord. It's theonejanitor.com/Discord. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter. Just to keep up. If you want to see my apparently unpopular takes about things like Will Smith, you can follow me on Twitter. Anyway, I will see you all whenever is the next time I see you. Bye-bye.